Look at this shit. Look at it. Isn't it so cool? Literally, I went to college and I got into Legos. That's been like the main thing that I've been doing, other than schoolwork, for the past few weeks. It's so cute and like very quality. Alright, hello and welcome to my recommendation roundup for the months of September and October. I guess that's what's happening. Yeah. I've been a lot busier than I thought I was going to be. So, I was planning on doing this video last week, but that didn't work out. So I guess this is my video for October. If you are new to this series, this is the show where I talk about things I've watched, read, listened to, played in the past month or so, and recommend them to you. So the first thing I want to recommend is Buckley vs. Vidal, Best of Enemies. Actually, I think it's the other way around. Best of Enemies, Buckley vs. Vidal. It's about a series of televised debates between these two pundits, Bill Buckley and Gore Vidal, and it's like the beginning of television punditry. They're just so perfectly well matched, and it makes me really long for a time when we could have like actually good pundits, and it wasn't just SJWs getting wrecked. The other movie I want to recommend is Operator, which is a really interesting romantic comedy wherein a guy makes an AI based on his girlfriend to comfort him. And it's a really fun, cute movie. I recommend it. TV this month has been great. I want to recommend a show that not that many people have been talking about called The Good Place. It is a really fun comedy about a woman in the afterlife. And it's really kooky. There really isn't anything quite like it on TV right now. It just entered its second season, but I really, really recommend you start from the beginning. Like, I don't want to spoil anything, just watch it from the start. It's on Netflix. Go, watch it. If you have been following Rick and Morty, this season has been great. There's one specific episode that I'm completely in love with, which is the Rick Lantis mix-up. Like, I'm considering pretty seriously making a video about how well done that episode is, as far as using tropes and setting and payoff and, like, its ability to use cliches to its advantage. I think it's a work of art. Like, not a single second of that episode goes to waste, and it's spectacular. I also want to recommend American Vandal, which is a extremely clever parody of a true crime documentary. It takes place in a high school, and instead of someone getting murdered, the teacher's cars got dicks vandalized on them. Yeah. It is possibly one of the most high school things I've ever seen, and it is one of the rare pieces of media in which high schoolers actually act like high schoolers. It's great. Watch it. Books, I want to recommend The Secret History of Wonder Woman, which is it's the biography of William Moulton Marston, the guy who created Wonder Woman, but really it's sort of watching the rise and fall of first wave feminism through his life and both of his wives' lives. Yeah, he had two wives at the same time. He was a very weird, interesting guy, and the biography kind of shies away from it, but also kind of doesn't, and doesn't really know what to make of him. It's a good read. I got my mother to read it, and then she gave away my copy. But it's fine, because I have more copies based on this clip here. Yeah. No, people keep giving it to me. It's a good book. I also want to recommend The Martian, which is a great book if you don't like reading. It's also a good book if you like reading, but it reads more like a movie, sort of an action-y kind of thing. And it's basically one of those, like, what-if scenarios, but playing out. So it's really fun. Oh, so this month I've been actually, like, playing video games, and I want to recommend two of the games I've been playing. One of them is called Lady Killer in a Bind, and it is a sex-positive dating sim, which is very rare to come by, best I can tell. You play as a girl dressed up as her brother, seducing people on a boat. And by people, I mean women. It is very gay, and it's great. Yeah, that's all I want to say. Oh, I also want to mention that in that game, if you put it on safe for work mode, the characters are wearing ugly Christmas sweaters instead of being naked. It's great. Alright, the other game I want to recommend is called Orwell, which is basically, it's cyberstalking, the video game. You play as basically a government agent for the nation, and it's peppered with all these like George Orwell and 1984 references throughout, and you're trying to investigate some acts of terrorism. I'm only like a couple hours in, so I don't really know what happens, but it's a really fun game, and you get drawn in really quickly. Like, I remember after turning off the game and then going online normally, I felt like I was still playing. It's just really fun. Oh, and I also been listening to music this month. New media, woo! I want to recommend The Regrets again. I mentioned them at the end of my Taylor Swift video, but they're great. They're like Riot Girl, except they don't sound terrible. I know, I'm gonna like lose my feminist card. I really like Riot Girl. The only problem is that the kind of punk is very rough sounding. And The Regrets basically have a similar sort of aesthetic to that, but it's fun pop rock instead of punk. So it's like feminist rock basically, and they're really cool, and I love their music videos. They have one that's like a 1950s period piece, and then another which the premise of the video is historical women saying fuck you to men, and it's great. If you liked my last video about The Handmaid's Tale, I really want to recommend Transgressions by Lakes of Canada. It is an album about The Handmaid's Tale, and it's basically Handmaid's Tale fanfiction. So for example, there's a song, why am I forgetting what it's called? But there's a song that is about what happens when Gilead falls, and it's really cool. There's lots of different sort of, some of the songs are sad, some of the songs are like, kind of like, I forgot what to call it. The thing is, like, it's kind of like metal, but it's like light metal, it's not really metal. Everything from like that to like acoustic pop, and it's great, and I love it. YouTube stuff. I want to recommend Lindsay Ellis's video essay on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It is a 40-minute long subtweet of Max Landis, and it is amazing! Max Landis said some not so great things about, like, Gamora not hooking up with Peter Quinn in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and so Lindsay Ellis basically made a 40-minute video explaining why that didn't happen in the movie, and it's great, and like, I cried, and other people said they cried. It's a spectacular video essay. Like, she really hit it out of the park. So I also want to recommend The Adorkable Misogyny of the Big Bang Theory. It's great. It put into words a lot of the problems I had with the Big Bang Theory that I couldn't quite explain. And it also talks about the pervasive problem of misogyny in geek culture, which is, you know, relevant to me, what with me being a woman and a geek. The last thing I want to recommend is, this is Dan Bell's Dead Mall series. For me at least, I have a lot of anxiety, and I find him very quietly talking over footage of mostly abandoned malls very soothing. And the mall architecture is weird and cool, and it's just a really great series. So that's all for this month. I will probably put out a normal video this month, but I maybe won't. I don't know. So I'll see you when I see you.